in July and the monsoon seems to be making up for lost time, and that is always good news. It's even better news if you're a business that's connected with the agricultural and allied economy. I'm in Hyderabad today to tell you about a company and its story on life after listing. Dodla Dairy is a milk and dairy products manufacturer that is well known in the southern states and is planning to go across India and beyond. It's almost exactly a year ago that it went public. It's a good time to find out how this company is doing, also given that it starts on its 25th year of operations. When you look at the origin from this vantage point, what would you say of that journey that's happened?
The journey has been one of a lot of ups and downs, the goods and the bad. But I think in my life it has been a lot more of the goods. The goods outweigh the bad that happen in life. It has always been a very pleasant journey to look forward, and I would recommend it to a lot of the youngsters if they're watching. That the journey of being an entrepreneur, to start with the help from family, getting along with a bunch of good colleagues. It's been a very, very interesting life. So I would recommend it to anybody saying that it's a life to look forward to. Not only the journey of saying IPO or the financial, but as more enriching for life itself. The number of people you meet, the camaraderie that people come around with you. Because dairy being such an industry which deals with a vast section of society. I mean, just to say that, right, we can talk about saying that we deal with lakhs of people. It's a sense of pride. And going for an IPO, I think it's a part of the journey where I think what we started with as a smaller company being producing, and to build something which is beyond oneself, to become something which is going to be much longer surviving, is what I look forward to.
This is the family name.
Family name.
That makes you, does that make your father feel especially proud?
My grandfather. Grandfather who's no more now. He used to tell us that, be careful, you're going all over the world with the family name, don't mess it up. Imagine if it doesn't do well, people are also going to shout at the family name, right? It's not just the name being on the packet.
Give us a sense of how much life has changed in the past year, because it's almost exactly a year that you took Dodla Dairy public.
Life has changed to a bit of extent that I travel to Bombay more often than usual as to meet up with the investors and keep people updated. But coming from a fundamental things of operations or the way we go ahead, it's not been much of a change because we've always lived our life. I'm talking of way back from '98 with investors, private equity investors along the way. We have changed into three private equity investors. We had a large guy like IFC coming in. So I think major issues in terms of what operationally or whatever we look at, it has already been set as a tone and rhythm. It's the only thing that now we're dealing with another community of a larger number of investors. That is which we are doing. And that's been the basic change. And also, I guess, regulation-wise, there is a lot more of regulation that now we have to do in terms of filing.
Compliance, all the regulatory compliance that you need to do is the new element.
It's the new norm of on time. And also now it becomes a race now, right? So it's that looking forward of the quarterly to quarterly animal, which I hope that we being a younger company now are being giving more sense of what we're going to do. But I think as the days go by and people see us for a little longer term, they will really appreciate for what we stand and who we are and take a much longer term view of it.
It's been a very volatile year for the stock markets. Does that bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me, right? Because as a company, my responsibility is to deliver the numbers that we've promised, to give the, keep the company growing and keep it doing well. The share price is a thing of multiple factors which are beyond the control of a small company like ours. But I'm proud of the fact that we're trying to keep up with that in terms of the numbers that we are supposed to deliver, and we keep continuing to deliver that. So the funnier part of the joke that I wanted to tell you about that was looking at my stock price.
Yeah.
So earlier
What is it today as we are recording?
I didn't look at it today, but normally I'm saying that we have not fluctuated much. But you know, the day we listed, I had a good smile on my face.
It was about 45% up?
45% up. And now I realize, oops, it shouldn't have gone up, because now everybody compares me with that 45%
With that
up.
high, yeah.
But not with actually what we went as a 428 and where we stand today, maybe at a 485, which has given reasonable returns.
Yes.
But people see the ups and downs of it. So that's why I say stock price is something I shouldn't look at. So that is on the more part of it. But I did look for 6 months. I was like, okay, what's happening? Now I realize there's nothing much we can do but concentrate on our work and our numbers.
The dairy sector, which is what, and the processed food industry, which is where Dodla Dairy would fall, is dominated by the cooperatives, right? And by large, iconic legacy ones, whether it's Amul, whether it's, Mother Dairy in the north. In the south has different states like Nandi. They have different states have different well-known iconic brands. How do you see the competitive landscape for you?
So let me take it this way.
Because there are few private dairy companies, isn't it?
Compare it. But by a statistical number, private dairies today, I think, control 50% of the volume. Whichever way you look at it, there is a report by CRISIL which was done on private dairies, procurement, and they did a sort of a pan-India. In certain states, the private sector has become more than the cooperative. The dairy sector was restricted for the cooperatives, if I remember right, till the 95s.
Yes.
So they had a run of where they were, being a socialistic thing of benefiting the farmer to going forward. They were taking care of a lot of responsibility, right? There was no milk in the country, and Mr. Kurian coming in, starting it, and today, something like a Ukraine happens. We're very proud to say we're self-sufficient, largest producer of milk. A lot of credit goes to what these guys have done in the past. Right? And now after that self-sufficiency has come in, when the government has made it liberalized and privatized, it's taken form of a new avatar by itself. Right? It's also the farmer. Now we're looking at consumer benefit. The globe will begin to open up. So earlier when we had nothing, we were looking at only within the country how to satisfy. Now we're getting a lot of benefits from the government, or the government is pushing, saying, why is India only, the dairy industry serving only India? Why can't India look to be a global
Is that
provider?
why you have opened, you've acquired a plant in Africa, in Uganda, and you're in 2 markets there?
Uganda and Kenya. It's not only with that reason. And when we started, we were a small company, right? We couldn't think of much. We were looking at our survival initially. Then from our survival to where we have grown to where we become. So I keep coming and looking at ourselves, why can't an Indian company talk like saying it's a strategic? I get a lot of inbound questions when people come and say, we are a strategic, we can add value to us. I think as an Indian company, we have our own strengths too. If we go to Africa, our value and the knowledge that we have learned in India, thanks to what the cooperatives have given us, or even the packaging that you see, this is one of the most best of low-cost, effective packaging that we are doing. We don't go to retail stores where the margins are high. We have our own milk delivery system. So those strengths, I'm saying, where can we use them? Right? I don't have to go make the best of blue cheese and fight for a smaller market. But I can go to a continent like Africa and say where our skill sets will also give us our value.
Yeah.
So it is to think a little bigger. Right?
So what are your plans for the overseas market?
Wherever we get value. So overseas market and an Indian market, my view is it's also the question of management, to learn management. It's not something we can just go jump into. We will take very slow measured steps unless we're sure that we know what we're doing and the margins are large enough, where it's much more better than where we are. We will go there and definitely have a look at it. But otherwise, within India also, we have a huge amount of work to be done yet. So where I bring this down to, when you were saying the large iconic brands, we are a young babes in the woods, which are say 25 years old, with others who are 75 years old. So we're just beginning to stand up, right? Give us some more time, and then we'll also be, hopefully in a few years down the line, one of those names you were referring to, we'll also be there and be reckoned with.
Right. You have made some acquisitions in the last couple of years. Are those being subsumed into the Dodla brand, or are you keeping those brands alive? What's your strategy there?
So we are keeping those brands alive too, but Dodla will be the major brand. Like I said, we're the learning curve. Now we've become a company which has multi-brands.
Yeah.
Africa is another brand. We call it Dairy Top there. We still have KC as a brand. When we acquired Sri Krishna, we're still holding on to the brands. We are seeing where the value for us accrues, and then we're continuing to keep all the brands growing.
And how do you evaluate value?
Consumer recognition, consumer trade recognition is one value which you have to look at.
Sure.
Sometimes they might have done something good, and that's why people associate with them. We do not want to go with the arrogance of saying that we are bigger or better. We try to look at why it is there. For example, Sri Krishna, which we're talking about, was one of the first private dairies in the country. They've been there from the 95s and whatever, 94s, and they have a strong association with the local population. So we just can't go there and say we have come new, right? So they have some value to it. because that is the reason people buy it, and we only strengthen it. Whatever was weak there, we try to strengthen it and make it bigger and better.
But you acquired it for the brands and its value, or you acquired it for the the plant and its
asset. We acquired it even for the asset was also
yeah.
a very good asset that it was there, which was with us. So the multiple values, right? Maybe in a scale of 1:10, brand would have had a 2 or a 3 value, but other values add to the 7.
Sure.
So that is where we went and took over. It was more of the plant and the synergies that we could do.
Right.
It gave us a perfect fit into where we were selling from North Karnataka to Southern Karnataka. So each acquisition has its own nuances as to why we take it over.
Right.
But we are predominantly looking at every acquisition in terms of, if I put in X amount of money, how quickly do we make it back? In terms of physical cash generated at a cost of capital. We don't look at it as multiplication, but we look at it more as an accretion where we actually turn it around and make money out of it.
The public offer that you made last year, while a large part of it was offer for sale, and so investors, including the promoter family, getting value, you also had a fresh issue, and I think a lot of that was used to clear your debt, isn't it?
A small portion of it.
A small portion of it was used to clear your debt. What is the real value that going public offers you?
The way we have gone in was not for the sake of the money that we need.
Right.
Now today I have an alternate currency too. Today Dodla is a debt-free company. We sit with a bit of cash with us. We don't need cash for growth. We don't need money. But give it another few more years, right? Suppose we are really building and growing. Now I have another currency with me. So if tomorrow there is some two of larger sizes have to get together. I'm saying it out of a real long-term view, right? It's nothing specific here.
I get it. I understand.
But saying now I can go offer somebody saying, why can't we give stock instead of cash too? Which puts the pressure on the company, which is lesser. So it's much more of a longer term view that we have gone, right?
Going public is really a building block towards a long strategy, long play for Dodla.
So if I look at what I look at even on my own personal greeds, right? If we own 63% of the company or whatever my market cap is, being private and the amount of cash we're generating, I would have been happier with that. Because there was a lot more cash coming to me accruing personally than it would have ever been when I'm public. But the public game is a much larger game that we have to look at. Going public for where we are is just the beginning. Right? It makes no sense to go public for such a small market cap and for this. So this is something which we look forward for a longer run. And also to build something on meritocracy. Right? The second thing of going public. There's so much of good oversight. I don't blame the oversight to be wrong or oversight is right or whatever. But that oversight helps us also think, right? So India investor activism is also coming up. It's not anymore that it was like the old days where the investor activism was not there. So I think it's a good sign, right?
BVK, it's wonderful to be at this plant. How old is this place?
So 5 years old, madam. 2017 January we started.
Is this the largest plant you have in the Dodla Dairy setup?
Yes, size wise, and roughly about 2 lakh square feet building, and roughly about 24 acres land. Size wise is the bigger plant out of all plants.
Right. Give me a sense of the scale where Dodla Dairy is concerned, because last year, FY22, you hit 2,000 crore plus in terms of revenues. So give us a sense of the kind of milk procurement, just the volumes that we're talking about.
Yeah. So milk procurement now this year we are targeting around roughly about 15 lakhs. So last year also
15 lakh liters a day.
15 lakh liters a day. Now we have set a target for this financial year. And last year also, now slowly last 3 years, we keep on adding a lot of chilling centers. Earlier, we used to have a shortage, normally 10 to 15% we used to buy from third party. Now slowly that we have overcome. Now last year itself, now we have become every day 50,000 liters surplus on a year basis if you take. And this year now we are purely 100% our own milk, and also will be becoming surplus.
Okay. How did you manage to overcome that situation of falling short?
We have been planned since a couple of years back that every year we have been adding at least 10 new chilling centers. So with that, we have overcome this issue.
Your product portfolio has expanded. How are you making decisions of what new products to add on and what is new that we can expect in the pipeline?
So new products, depending upon the market requirement. So based on market requirement, we are adding the new products. For example, last couple of years, every year you see the very good growth in curd, especially buttermilk, curd, lassi. So earlier it was not there. Last 10 years onwards, because when wife and husband are working, mostly in metro cities, most of the people are buying curd, ready-made curd. So see, there is a good growth in the curd market, curd and buttermilk lassi especially.
Strategically, how do you decide what all you're testing at any given point of time? How many new product categories would you be testing?
Product developments, see, we have added a lot of, even product development in ice cream also. So mostly in South, there's not much of paneer eating habit.
Yes.
Now slowly the paneer eating habit has catched up very well. And sweets making also. Earlier not much of sweets. Now sweets also now catching up. So like that, depending on the market, we are also making a trial. We are also pushing different products. So market is accepting. So depending on the market, marketing acceptance, now we keep on pushing the products. Mango lassi we have tested. So like, the way
It's not yet in the market.
No, we have already launched it in the market recently. And, we have tested, probiotic culture, probiotic curd we have tested. And also whey drinks also we are testing in the market. So we keep on trying.
What are your pan-India plans?
Pan-India, see earlier, when we used to have a surplus butter and ghee, so we used to sell in Rajasthan, Gujarat, Indore, Madhya Pradesh, and including Himachal Pradesh also. So products, we have sold across India. Even Calcutta, we were having the office. Calcutta also we have closed. Calcutta, Indore, all these places we have sold now. So depending upon, mostly it is a powder and ghee and butter. Yeah. Not perishable products. Long life products we have sold in pan-India level.
And do you see a market for your product, a sustainable growth coming from these markets for you?
Yeah, 100%.
The rains seem to be doing better so far in July than in June. In fact, June was a bit of a letdown, isn't it? What are you expecting in terms of the agricultural economy and the related dairy farming economy? How do you see that play out this year with respect to the monsoon impact?
Now this year, monsoon has set in a right time. And this year, we are expecting very good milk production. So last year, because of the first quarter was the COVID impact, and because of COVID impact, see some disturbance was there, but this year there is no disturbance. We are expecting very good growth in this sector.
What's your ambition for this company that you have helped build?
So ambition, today where we are now, within 5 years, it will double. It will become a double.
That's your goal. Have you told your entire team that?
Yeah, definitely. Because, it took very long time to establish, but once you establish, so it will multiply fast.
We've got a whole array of your products here, isn't it? Give me a sense of when we discuss value-added products. You have an interesting take on it, I know, because we were talking about it earlier. So what do you mean, how do you see a value-added product? And when you look at this array, how do you decide on what to add on?
Yeah.
How are those decisions made?
So I'll also pull you into this. So value-added product, for me, if I just take a very quick example of the two products that I'm showing, right? This is same simple good old dahi/curd. Where do you buy this? Predominantly A-grade stores. This majority of you people who are living in a thing will not even know where it is available. Some people might even complain. And we even have smaller portion sizes of these which are 100 ml and 175 ml. This, is my view, is a true value-added India. This is a very small value-added India.
Got it.
So if I look at products which are highly value-added, highly consumable, I place in the A-grade store at a highly premiumized price, the volume game there shrinks. When I look at this, and this is the value-added India, what I mean to say, our GDP growing. Today when there is a husband and wife working, both areas, this is where they are actually willing to pay me more money. This is where they hurry. For example, I'll give you another one which is what we call as a UHT milk, which has got a 90-day shelf life. I can give you the same in a better pack of a cardboard pack which lasts for the same 120 days or 90 days. But who uses this to who uses that? So that is used in the more affluent part of India, and this is used in the more, let's say...
so it's a much smaller measure, is
smaller
it?
Measure, price-wise trying to fit in. So we talk of the, not the 20 million or 30 million population, but we talk of the remaining 1 billion population. So in my view, India going forward is the 1 billion of value add that is going to come. As the country's economy continues to grow, a person who's going to pay a premium will be traveling the world and will have a lot of views on what they have. But the country is running now, right? Everybody is busy. At every level, people are working. At everybody, people want. So convenience is coming. So is the convenience going to push it more towards what? I think kinds of this. And this is where we are moving in now. When we say we have 28% of our sale, 29% of our sale, is all these that are moving in. And even if you come to your ice cream, is this going to move as a cup size, which is going to be a instant eat and throw, or a fancier bar? So we think that India has got a lot more. It's got all areas, but I think the volume and the size and the growth comes in the other segments, not necessarily the agri.
Right. How would you break this up in terms of the way they contribute to your revenues?
Revenues, I think the basic,
Yeah.
these two will contribute almost 90% of our revenues, 90-95%. The remaining will contribute 7-8%.
And you see that changing at some
Like
point?
I said, with the convenience, right?
Yeah.
Again, I bring it back to this. So would you, next time when you go home to buy ghee, will people buy this big, keep it there for a month, or will they buy this?
Right.
To light a lamp for a god, will they buy this or will they buy this?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think if Indian economy continues to improve, this will start going further and further up. If economy starts to sort of hang in there, it will be a lot more of these.
Okay, final question. Since you brought up the economy, what do you make of where it is at today? Given that we've had 2 years of the pandemic, are you back to pre-pandemic levels?
Yes, we are back to pre-pandemic, or rather the growth compared to the pre-pandemic to where we are, we have grown to the pre-pandemic levels. Yes,
and what do you see of the challenges today, given the runaway inflation, given global uncertainty because of the war, the Russia invasion of Ukraine? How do you see all of these parameters and macroeconomic factors affect your ambitions and your plans?
My biggest worry is that when people start to hurt because of inflation, where will consumption get hurt, right?
Exactly.
And that should again cause a deflation to tame down the inflation.
Yeah.
So I hope at least we are in a sector where people will sacrifice others. We will be able to pass on, because we are just an intermediary processor who buys from the public a large amount of farmers, processes it and sells it to consumers with the markup that we have. So we have to keep agile enough of moving the prices up. Ukraine is going to hurt at the back end, right? Fuel going up. The similar thing, packaging material, all that moving up. So who's going to bear the brunt? I think it is going to be borne across the chain. So how much do we contribute to it is going to be challenging for us, and especially if I'm a public player. So I will push on the cost to the consumer, I can push on the cost to the farmer, but somewhere we also have to be a little sensitized to both the things. So we all will take an equal share, and we try to compensate it by efficiency. Day on day. We are trying to put in more and more efficiency. Like you come here and see we're doing solar. We are not just trying to say just the price increase alone, but trying to build in a lot more efficiencies, bringing costs down.
But do you see headroom for price increases across your product range?
See, always we have to pass on. We cannot, as a thing that we cannot hold on. I think not only with us, but all food products in the country will start to see that change. So efficiency in the back end, efficiency from the manufacturer should help the overall system. If we are lax, consumption will come down, volume will come down. For example, if you can't afford to eat curd, you will compromise. If you can't use your milk in coffee or tea, you'll shift to black coffee. So our responsibility is not to push you to that. It's better to keep it more affordable and keep you in.
Keep it more affordable and keep people. It was lovely talking to you. I wish you a lot of good luck, and your entire team at Dodla.
Thank you so much. I think they put in a lot more effort to get everything going than I did.
I'm glad they put this up. We could see all the products that you have in one go. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.